By the end of this video of our trail system, the player will be able to equip their trails and watch them attached to their character in-game. At the minute, you can see my inventory. If I open a new crate, I don't actually get the new trail in my inventory. So we need to update the inventory when we open a crate. To do that in the crate handler, inside of our finished opening remote event, once we've reset the crates being opened table, we'll just call that load inventory event. So remotes.loadInventory :fire, and we're going to pass through the player, and if you remember correctly, the player trails. Now this player trails value is declared in here and in here. We don't have access to the scope of it outside of this if statement, so we need to create it outside the if statement. If you look at both of these if statements, there's a lot of code that is the exact same. So player trails and trail value are both the same, so I'm going to cut that out of the if statement, paste it at the top, and then I will remove it from the else. The name is different, so I'll leave that there. The value and the parent are both the exact same, so again I'll cut that out and paste it at the top, and I will remove it from the else. And that just makes our code look a bit nicer, and now we have access to the player trails folder. So that's it for the crate handler, nice and easy. In the inventory manager, we have got quite a lot to do in here. The first thing I'll do is in the load inventory function, we're populating the inventory with a bunch of stuff. If we were to run this now, because we're firing load inventory when we open a new crate, if I open up a crate, we watch the inventory, everything will duplicate. And that's because we're just generating more over what's already there. We're not deleting what's already there. So we need to clear the inventory before we populate it. So at the very top then, after we've got the rarity text and all the UI, I'll clear the inventory. It's very easy. We're just going to loop through each item in the item frame. For underscore comma item in iPairs, item frame, get children, do. If we open starter GUI, then the inventory GUI, background and item frame, you can see we have a template in here and a UI grid layout. Now we don't want to delete either of these. We need them for this to work. So we can't just go and say item : destroy, because otherwise it's going to get rid of our UI grid layout and our template. If we can check if the item is not the template or the UI grid layout, and if it's not, then we can do item destroy. And to run this check, we'll just say if item : is a, that's an uppercase I and an uppercase A. And in here we go for UI grid layout. Make sure you spell it correctly. Or, so this checks our UI grid layout, but we also need to check if it's a template. The way we can do this, let's just check the name of it. Or item.name equals template. Then, and if this is true, we'll continue and end. Now this is going to create a problem, because each time we create a clone, we never rename it, so every clone is also named template. So to fix that, I'll just say clone.name, and I'll just set it to something like item, and now if we test it, it will work. So this is our inventory, it's got nothing in it. Okay, so the reason it's got nothing in it is because we want to cut this clear inventory. It needs to be above this for loop. I've put it in the wrong place. I did not mean to do that. So make sure the clear inventory is before this for loop here. Let's test it now. So when we first play, we've got all our trails. And now if I open up a rare crate, watch the trail get populated and it gets added, I got yellow and I now have 2 yellows. Now we need to set up the equip button. So let's just hook a function to the equip button. So after we get the rarity text, I'll say local equip button. And I'll set this to clone : wait for child and pass through the equip button. Make sure you spell this exactly how you've spelled it in your template. Then at the bottom, once we've set the clone to be visible, we can hook a function up. So I'll say equip button dot mouse button one click. Make sure you spell this uppercase M, B, and C. Connect function. And in here, I'm going to pass through equip trail, which is going to be a function we'll create in a minute. And equip trail is going to take the equip button. That's because we're going to change the color of it. It's going to take the trail that we're going to equip, although this trail was just the bool value. If we go back to the origin of this trail, it's just the boolean inside of the trails folder. It's not the actual trail itself, and we'll take the player. Now let's create this function. So at the top, I'll say function, equip trail. We're going to take the button, we're going to take the trail boolean, and we will take the player. I'm also going to create a table at the top, and I'll call this equipped trails. And it'll be an empty table. And this is going to hold for each player the trail they have equipped and the text button of the trail they have equipped. So when we equip a trail, if we already have a different trail equipped, we'll be able to use this table to unequip the previous trail and set the button of the previous trail back to green instead of red for unequip. You'll be able to see what I mean visually later on. So let's get the current equipped trail. So local current is going to be equal to equipped trails and passing through the player. The player is the key. We'll then get the player's character. So local character equals player.character. And if their character for whatever reason doesn't exist, then we'll just return and it'll be an unsuccessful equip. If not character, then return end. If current isn't nil, so if we do have an equipped trail, to do that we'll just say if current and current.trail, then, and we'll create this trail key in a minute. If this is true, that means the player already has a trail equipped and they're trying to equip a new trail. If that's the case, we want to destroy the old trail inside of their character and then add the new one in. So to destroy the old trail, we'll say local trail effect equals character colon find first child, and we're going to put through current.trail.name. All of our trails are going to be cloned into the player's character, and the name of the trail will match the name of the bool value. That's the way the system works. So remember, inside of our player folder, we have a bunch of trail names, and the name of those Boolean values is the name of the trail. We can find the trail name from the name of the Boolean. We'll just double check it definitely exists. So if trail effect then, and we'll say trail effect colon destroy, because we don't want to keep it in the player. Otherwise we'll have two if we're going to equip a new trail. So let's handle a few cases now. So if we're clicking the already equipped trail, then we want to unequip it. So to do that, we can say if current and current.trail is equal to the trail bool. So if there is a current trail and the trail is equal to the Boolean that we want to equip, because we're going to set the trail to the Boolean value, then it's the exact same trail, so we want to unequip it. I'll say button.text is equal to equip. Button.background color free is going to be equal to color free dot from RGB. And in here I'm going to put a green color, so 91, 255 and 32. And then we'll just say equipped trails player is going to be set back to nil because we now no longer have an equipped trail. Then we will return out of it. So this is our unequip. The second case is if we are equipping a new trail, but the trail is different to the old trail, then we want to unequip the previous trail. So if current then, we'll just reset the previous button's UI by saying current.button.text is equal to equip, and current.button.background color free equals color free dot from RGB, and I will set this to the same green color, 91, 255, 32. And after this, then we will equip the new trail. So to equip the new trail, we'll just say button.text is going to be equal to unequip. And then I'll set the background color to a red color for the unequip. So background color free equals color free dot from RGB. And I'll set this to red, which is 255, 55, 55. It's the pinky red I will go with. Then I'll say equipped trails passing through the player, going to be equal to a new table. We're going to have the trail key set to the trail bool, and the button set to the button. Next, we'll actually put the trail on the player. So to do that, we need to get the trail effect from the trails folder inside of replicated storage. Then we need to clone it and put it into the torso attachments. So to get the trail effect, we can say local trail effect equals trails folder, which we haven't yet made, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Go on find first child, trail bool, dot name, and I'm going to put a comma true. Because we have inside of replicated storage in our trails folder, we have multiple folders here with the values inside. Rather than find first child and then the rarity and then find first child again, we can just do comma true, which means it's going to iterate through every single descendant and check every descendant. It's essentially a colon find first descendant method. The trails folder we can actually just replace with replicated storage.trails rather than creating a new variable for it. And then if it doesn't exist, if not trail effect, then we can just return. Now, if we press test, I'm going to click the server client view up here, and I'm going to open up my player's character. I'll just find my character in the workspace and go over to them. Here's what's going to happen. So if I open up replicated storage and trails, I'm just going to duplicate the rainbow trail for now, and I'll put it inside of the player's character. If the player walks around now, the trail won't do anything. We need to set the trail attachment. So attachment 0 and attachment 1, we need to figure out where they should go on the player. The best location I've found is if we go into the torso, we will see a waist rig attachment. I will set this, so if I go onto the rainbow, I'll set attachment 0 to the waist rig attachment, and I'll set attachment 1 to the neck attachment. You can do the neck or the neck rig, they are both in the same location. Depends if you're using R6 or R15 as to what one you see, but both do the exact same. If I now go back, as I walk around, we now have our rainbow trail here. And that's sort of how the system will work. Now go to File and Avatar Settings, and you can see if you're on R6 or R15, you click these three dots, you've got R15 only, or R6 only, or R15 and R6. You can do either. I will show you both, so it depends if you are on R15 or R6 as to what code you need. I'm going to program it for both. So just follow this and you can't go wrong. We're going to say local torso equals character, find first child torso, or character, find first child upper torso. Now we can say if not torso, then return end. And next I'll get the waist attachment. So local waist attachment equals torso, find first child, waist attachment, I believe it was called. I'll just double check that. I can't remember if it was waist attachment or waist center. Okay, it was actually waist rig attachment, or torso, find first child, and the alternative is waist center attachment. Then we'll get the neck attachment, so local neck attachment equals torso, find first child, neck attachment, or torso, find first child, neck rig attachment. And then we'll just do that if statement to check they definitely exist. So if not waist attachment and neck attachment, then we're going to return because we can't assign the trail. Now we'll clone the trail. Just call the clone trail, local cloned trail equals trail effect, clone. Then I'll set the attachment 0 to the waist and attachment 1 to the neck. Clone trail.attachment 0 equals waist attachment. Cloned trail.attachment 1 equals neck attachment. Then we'll just set the parent of the trail to the player's character. Now let's test this. So let's press play. And you can see, so I'm in R15 at the minute. And if I go to inventory and equip red, I get the red trail. And let's just test this for R6. So I'll go into my avatar settings. And I'll change this to R6 only. Save changes. Now if I press play, if I equip the green, I walk around. So the green hasn't worked. So let's have a look inside of the player as to why green has not worked. So we have the torso here. We have the neck attachment. And we have the waist center attachment. So let's just check if we've spelt something wrong. We've got torso. Then we have waist center attachment. So I've spelt waist center attachment wrong. This should have an S in it just here. Waist center attachment. And I spelt neck attachment wrong there as well. Just make sure all your spelling is correct. It's quite difficult to notice. Let's try this again. So again on R6, I equip green. And yeah, now it works. So I'll go back to R15 because it's a bit more modern. And now if I equip red, it works. If I unequip red, it disappears. If I equip yellow, it works. And then if I go and equip orange, it removes the yellow and replaces it with orange. And now if I equip rainbow, I've got my rainbow trail. So it works perfectly. We'll just do one more test now on a server and clients. So I'll load up 2 clients. Okay, so I'm going to get a trail on player 2 and a trail on player 1. So on player 2, I've got an orange. I'll equip that. And as I walk around, you can see my orange trail. And the other player can see it too. And if I equip my rainbow on player 1, I can walk around my rainbow. And the other player can see it. So now we've got trails that actually work. And this is really cool. This is essentially the system done. However, I'm not done yet. I want to make more improvements. I said this would be advanced, and I mean it. It's going to be an advanced trail system. So over the next couple of videos, we're going to create filters to filter the inventory. We can filter by name, rarity, things like that. I'm going to create deleting trails. I'm going to create trail boosts so that they can affect stats in-game if you would like. That can be optional. And I'm also going to look at trail levels. So if you get the same trail, you can level the same trail up, give you a better boost. These will all be optional videos from now on. You now have your trail system. Everything else is optional. Just keep an eye on the series in case you see a video come out that you are really interested in. Thank you for watching this. Stay tuned for the next video to this tutorial. I've created a playlist, which I will leave a link to in the description, where I'll add all the videos for this tutorial as they get released. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more tutorials. We have a Discord server, which you can find the link to in the description, where you can ask for programming help, help others, or just chat there. You can also leave feedback on our videos and channel. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.